Well, I finally got this smoker working, and I want to put together just a little bit of information for people out there who have a similar situation. I did research to see what most people are saying could be the cause for this smoker to stop working, and the symptom was as soon as you turn it on, you'd set the temperature, you'd set the time, and you'd hear it click on. As soon as you did that, it would blow either the breaker in the circuit or the GFI breaker that's in the outlet itself. And everyone pretty much points at the element, or some people call it a coil, as being the issue. I can tell you in my case, that was not the issue. I replaced the element. I bought one online for like $35, and it made zero difference at all. So then I took it apart again and cleaned it all out with a pressure washer and put it back together after it was dried out and everything, and plugged it in. Still same problem. And then when I was putting it back together after the pressure washing, I'll show you on the bottom here. Take the chip loader out. On the bottom there is an access panel, and you can see now the board is hanging out here, and I've got it unplugged, so there should be no current there. But no one online mentioned this at all, and I was really surprised. But this appears to be kind of the main circuit board of really the entire thing, because this is what takes the AC power in from your outlet, and it also has a connection for the thermometer, as well as the DC wires that go to the control panel that sits on top. And it also has the AC output that goes to the temperature controlled element that actually heats the thing. So this is pretty much the heart and soul of the smoker. And I tell you what really kind of bums me out is this is the housing that this board sits in, and it is not waterproof, it is not moisture proof, it is not designed to keep the grease or liquid from the smoker out, and it just fills up with liquid. And when I opened this up, I knew right away that this was the problem. It was full of solidified grease from the smoker. And it's possible that this was plugged up at one point, and it just wasn't draining properly out the back, I suspect, is what made it significantly worse. It was during a smoke where I had a whole bunch of meat in here. I probably had 4 things of ribs and a pork butt and some chicken, and just had it filled to the brim. And it got 3/4 of the way through the smoke, and it just stopped working, and it blew the breaker. And that's because it created a short. What I ended up doing to fix this, I didn't have to replace anything, so I didn't need to buy the element. Now I've got an extra element on hand, but that's fine. All I did was I took a picture of the wiring here to make sure I knew how to put it back together. And then I took the circuit board out. There's a few screws that hold it in. And I took it inside, and I washed it off with hot water, because I really couldn't think of any other way to get all that grease off, because it was just caked, just full of grease, solidified grease and grossness. And I think I just let it run under the hot water for about 20 minutes or so. And then I sprayed it off using the kitchen sink sprayer with the hot water, and just kind of sprayed every angle until it was mostly clean. And then what I did was, rather than letting it air dry and corrode, I used a heat gun. I've got a heat gun I got from a hardware store for $15 years ago. You could use a hair dryer too, I'm sure. And I just kind of, about 5 minutes, heated up the whole thing, just gently, not super hot. Let it cool off, and then did it again 15 minutes later or so. So 10 minutes total of kind of just drying it off with the heat gun. Put it back together, and now it works great. I've tested it twice for about 45 minutes each, bringing it up to 210, 220. Works just fine now. So there you go. I think it would take quite a bit to damage this board. It's got some writing on it. I don't know if you can see it, but it actually calls itself a power board, I believe. Yeah, I can't get it to focus. There it is, power board. It's upside down, but you can see that. I could not find that part number or anything called a power board for the Masterbuilt smokers anywhere. I found something similar for like $10, but it was not the same exact part. So if this part goes bad, probably end up just having to buy a new smoker. But cleaning it appears to be at least the first thing worth trying doing. What I'm going to do now is the best thing to do would be if there's a way to create like a sealed compartment for this to sit in, that would be ideal. That would take probably a 3D printer to do it right, and I'm just not going to do all that work. But what I am going to do is I'm going to use some hot glue to seal in where the wires come in here, because that was all left wide open, and I think that's the most obvious place where the liquid is coming in. So any place where, you know, that grease and liquid is coming in, I'm going to try to seal it up. I suspect it's not going to be a total solution. It'll happen again, but I guess I will be cleaning out this board again in the future. And also, you know, keeping this drain from getting clogged up, I think, is very important. And so I'll try to make sure that I clear that out every now and then, use some sort of, I don't know, wire brush or anything, really. Just could shove it, pretty much anything in there to clean it out, I would suspect. So that's it. Now you know there is another reason why these might start blowing circuit breakers. It's not always the element. And I suspect this happens fairly often, and most people just throw these things out and they don't take the time to figure it out. Well, that's all. Hope this helps, and yeah, enjoy using your smoker for however much longer it lasts.